And Donna, if you want to start the recording, and I think you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Cook. Have a good weekend. Thank you, everyone. I will call the March 21st, 2024 Human Resources Committee to order at, what time is it? 5:03 p.m. If we can just take a minute and just take a brief moment of silence. Amen. All right. Moving on, do I have a motion to approve the February 8th, 2024 minutes?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Since we don't have any old business, moving on to new business, we are going to get the February staffing and retention report from Miss Strickland.
I think Heather's going to
I
share
apologize,
her
Miss
screen.
Pope. Thank you, Mrs. Pope.
No worries. Okay, do you have anything you want to say, or you want me just to jump in?
I think you just jump in. Guys, I'll just say that we don't have a lot on our agenda today. This is the only item we have. Some meetings we're going to have more items than others, but this one actually should be fairly brief. But Heather, I'll let you just jump into February report.
All right. There we go. Okay. So our first staffing update is related to police and fire. Everybody's pictures so I can see. So we see there that with fire, they are in the red. They have a 91% staffing level, which is pretty consistent with months past. And then
Heather, I'm sorry, can you put that slide up? We still got the cover page, or at least I do.
Y'all see that?
No, it's still just showing us the whole.
I might be sharing the wrong screen. Let me stop sharing. I got a different computer and I'm still adjusting. Okay, so I want this to restrict. And then I'm going to do. Right, get now, no problem.
Maybe if Miss Constance, you don't have it, do you?
Can you see?
Hi, Councilman Parker. No,
yeah.
I do not.
There you go. We got it.
All right, so let me do it in slideshow there. Now it's going to move it to my other screen, which is not super helpful. But you all can see this screen, right? with the graph.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So with the staffing update here, we've got fire at 91%, and they are trending pretty, consistent. They are looking fairly staffed there, and we know we'll have a big recruit class that'll start this summer. And then with police, they are 89%. They went down 1% from last month, but some of that is related to just rounding when you look at the numbers there. With the with the non-sworn staffing, this just gives you an update for the departments and the vacancy rates that they currently have. This shows you the change from last month, so from our last update. And you'll see there that a number of departments have closed a few vacancies since then. BFRC with 2, Clerk of Council with 2, Executive with closing 1, IT, it's got 1 new vacancy. Those others are unchanged, fire, housing, and HR. Livability is unchanged. Parks has closed 3 vacancies, and closed meaning that they've hired for those positions. And planning 2 new vacancies. Police non-sworn, they have closed 2 vacancies by hiring. Public service has 4 new vacancies. Recreation has closed 5. And then stormwater is 1 new vacancy. We've got 2 offers in process for maintenance workers. And Lizzie will talk a little bit more about that when we get to the recruitment side, about working with that department and a few others specifically. And then TNT has 37%. A number of those are related to parking enforcement officers. We have been working directly with the hiring manager on that to try to assist them with those positions. And then they do have 1 engineer in training that I approved today. Total turnover February through February of each year. And it's kind of hard to look at February and make a lot of great predictions for the next, 10 months. But looking at that, we are fairly consistent with years past, a little bit over 3%. Last year, we saw that number dramatically decrease, but we did award a significant pay increase in February of last year. So we know that a lot of employees have been watching that, and if what they were planning to leave, they certainly did not leave prior to that. Annual turnover. This is simply just a projection based on historical trend. We do tend to have a good bit of turnover within the first few months of the year historically. And so that, I think, is why we are seeing that appear to be a little slight uptick compared to what overall turnover actually was for 2023. And then recruitment. Lindsay, I'll let you give an update related to recruitment.
Hey there. So springtime is a very busy time for job fairs. So as you can see, we've been very busy over the last month or so with spring job fairs. Predominantly, these job fairs are to recruit for the summer vacancies, for the summer camps, lifeguards, tennis instructors, and positions of that nature. And to Heather's point regarding specific departmental meetings, my goal is to focus on some of the higher vacancy rate departments each month, to lean into them to help with any type of strategy, to consider positions and help with applications. So we did meet with public service, specifically with streets and sidewalks. Stormwater, that's an ongoing focus to get those maintenance workers fulfilled. We do have a request to the staffing agency for 10 crew workers for that position to help get those ditches cleaned and ready as we move through the rest of the growing season into hurricane season. And then recreation, that's really tied more into the summer seasonal roles. In addition, working with Turning Leaf, Turn 90, excuse me, to work with that program. They do have some folks that are working to come through that program, and that we can fulfill some of these vacancies between stormwater and public service predominantly. And then below is also a breakdown of the summer seasonal hire that we manage. So we're starting to get more offers in for those roles. And that's just a breakdown for y'all to kind of have an understanding of the volume that we deal with for orientation in May for a start in June.
Wonderful. Thank you. Does that complete the report, or is there?
It does.
Okay,
I'll
great.
stop sharing.
No, that was wonderful. I actually, can you, Heather, I'm so sorry. Now I'm going to ask you to go back and hopefully you can do it. If not, it's okay.
You're testing my technology
I
capabilities.
am. I'm so sorry. So I'm curious on the staffing update. When you know, in some departments, it's easy to sort of differentiate. You know, we have a lot of admin jobs or office jobs or anything like that. But I am curious with the stormwater staffing and environmental services. Yeah. So do you have anything maybe at the next meeting that you can show us or that might sort of carve out a little more with stormwater? I mean, because I do think, I mean, executive, stormwater, IT, you know, we have sort of the higher vacancy rates, but again, more in that labor sector, like, do we have a way of sorting through where the vacancies really lie in the stormwater and or public?
We can send that to you, a report
Okay.
that just lists the specific positions that are open, if that would help.
Yeah, that would help, but maybe just condensing it, maybe for this committee, showing, you know, out of that 30%, would you say half of that is labor, you know, driven, in the, you know, our ditch crews, you know, anything like that? That's kind of what I'm looking for. Like, what percentage of that vacancy do you think are in those departments, or are they in admin? Are they in engineering? All of that.
So this just gives you a list, and this is stormwater specifically. So there are a number of construction workers or maintenance workers, I think is what they're calling them now, that are open. But as Lindsay mentioned, you know, that we are working with the staffing agency to attempt to fill those. In addition to, they've been posting those. They've got a number of applications that are in the queue for the hiring manager to review. And we've worked with them to take a snapshot of those, send those to the hiring manager. We've also offered to screen those positions. And helps with getting those people on board, because we realize that if the managers are out in the field, that sometimes that's not the easiest thing for them to do. We haven't really been super successful with them taking us up on that. So we're going to continue to offer that.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, that is certainly what I'm looking for. And I certainly, I mean, it does look like obviously heavy equipment operators, crew leaders. So most of the administrative duties are all filled, correct?
Sure. The only one that's like a manager role, there's a program lead heavy equipment, but that's still a position out in the field. Quality insurance inspector is also a position that's out in the field. The only one that's open right now that's more administrative is an admin assistant, and that person just left recently. Okay,
perfect. Thank you very much. Does anyone else have any questions before I go on to my next question? I just have one more, y'all. Recruitment updates. Can you go back to that page for a second? So again, I mean, back to all of the department meetings, you know, are you feeling like, is there anything that you need us to focus on as far as a committee with those requests?
I can't think of anything particularly with the committee. I do think that with the comp study, you know, we are meeting with them starting next week, that we have identified a number of positions that we know are a problem, kind of, I guess, hot button issues, in addition to looking at the city staffing, you know, from a holistic view. Okay, perfect. So the temp employee situation, you won't need anything contractually or anything? No, we have a staffing agency that we have worked with over the years. We use staffing agencies that are on a state contract. And so we've reached out to one that we've been successful with and we've got a requisition that I think is close to being approved. And so Lindsay is looking to hear back from the staffing agency, hopefully within the next few days, with identifying some candidates. And we also had talked with the Turn 90 program. We had been, you know, successful. They used to be turning leave, but now they're Turn 90. But we had been successful with hiring from their program in the past. But more recently, we had struggled to get to attract their candidates as they are graduating from that program because our salary wasn't necessarily competitive with some of the other places that they were looking to work. But we feel like that we're in a better place with that. And so I think Lindsay had talked with them. They have 3 graduates that will be coming out in the next few months. And some of these entry-level positions would potentially be a great match.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, that's exciting to see. All of that, all those updates are wonderful to hear. I mean, kudos, big round of applause to y'all. Those vacancy rates are a lot different than when I started.
You're definitely making progress.
Yes, you guys have done a fantastic job. And I did see on the recreation center where we were giving, lifeguard shortage was a couple years ago after COVID. That was a big one. And we're giving great bonuses, fellow committee members, spread the word. I mean, I've seen all the flyers and all the postings and they just look wonderful. So hopefully you'll get some great candidates that way.
Lindsay's been doing a great job of getting out to our high schools too and spreading the word, and that, that starting rate is definitely very helpful in attracting these high school youth.
Yes, well, perfect. Thank you for all the hard work.
Sure.
Does anyone, go ahead.
Oh, Councilor Parker, I was just going to follow up on what Heather had said. I know that, of course, you helped us with the whole process of selecting CBiz for our comp study. And you remember Ed, who presented to us, he's actually flying into Charleston next Friday, as Heather said, and we're going to have our launch and get this process started. So yeah, so we're excited. It's, he's going to need a lot of data and information from us. So it's going to be a lot of fact finding on their part for a while, but yeah, we'll be very happy to, hopefully in a matter of months, we will have a report for the committee we can share on the findings and what their recommendations are.
Wonderful. Perfect. Thank you for that. I wanted to I was hoping for that in other business and committee members, please, if you have any questions about that process, again, let us know, but it's going to be an ongoing process. And hopefully when we have a lot more information, Kay and Heather are going to have a lot of information to share in the coming months. It's really exciting. So thank you.
One question is the report, you mentioned it, is that a first step, or is that going to be their final product?
Oh, with CBiz, with the comp study. Oh, this is the very, very beginning. I just got the signed contract on Monday, and I've been in contact with the person who is going to be the primary person who'll be conducting this for us. And the company's in St. Louis, and he's flying in on Friday to have our very first meeting where they're going to start their data collection from us and try to really start drilling down on what we have now, what our pay plans are. They're going to be looking at all of our job descriptions. It's going to be a lot, but no, it's going to be a little time before they have the actual report. But we will definitely be presenting that to you as that information comes in.
So will the timeline be, will it be soon enough to look at that and incorporate it in our next budget, or is this going to be a year or 2-year process?
No. They are supposed to complete this process in August. So that's our hope. So we actually are hoping that they will be making their recommendations in an order of priority. So we're actually still hopeful that we'll be able to get the top priority recommendations into 2025 budget. But we are kind of thinking at this point, like it might be a 2 to 3 year, some phased in, some, top, priority 1, priority 2, priority 3 that will work in. Because I don't know that we will be able to do everything they might suggest or recommend in one budget year, but we certainly are hoping that at least the things that they feel like are the most critical that we can implement in our 2025 budget.
Councilmember, thank you, Ms. Cross. Councilmember Tinkler, I'll have a timeline. I'll add it to next month's meeting just to give you a timeline of what that compensation study looks like. I apologize I didn't put it on this one, but we can bring that. I mean, I think we just got the contract, so that was a big piece. But so for April, I think that will be really helpful for this committee, and that's what we were hoping for, is that once you see the timeline, then I hope all of those questions will be answered. But yeah, hope the hope is for this budget season for sure. So, well, is there anything else from any committee members or staff? If there's nothing else, I will move to adjourn. Till next month. Bye, y'all.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Yeah.